All right, every March, over 500,000 bikers come into Daytona Beach for Bike Week. What does this mean if you live here? What does this mean if you think you're about buying here? Is it chaos? Does it hurt property values? We're gonna go through today and we're gonna explore Bike Week, and we're gonna talk about what it means for people that live here, what it means for people that live in Ormond Beach or Daytona Beach shores, or even New Smyrna Beach, where we see some overflow of bikers. But today we're gonna explore what Bike Week looked like from the ground level. So let's get started. Listen, if you're new to this channel, you want to learn everything there is to know about living in New Smyrna Beach or Daytona Beach or surrounding areas like Ormond Beach, Ponce Inlet, Daytona Beach Shores, Edgewater, or Port Orange, then you've come to the right place. My name is Matt Ekoff. I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Rachel Ekoff. We are local real estate experts here to share everything from the best neighborhoods, flood zones, and the hottest spots around town. Listen, we get phone calls, emails, text messages, and Zoom invites every day from people just like you wanting to move to the beach. So whether that be in 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to help you move to the beach. Please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so you get all the updates and notifications about New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas like Daytona Beach. Let's get started with Bike Week.
All right, we are in Daytona. It is right before spring break, and it is also, this is kind of the area where you would see most people. This is where it would be really busy, usually during weekends. You see a lot of families out here, but this week in particular, Main Street behind me, it is closed off. It is a huge event. It's up and down, and we're gonna go walk down there in just a second and just kind of talk about the event itself and see some of the actions going on. So if you are interested in a little bit later in the video, you want to hear Matt and I talk about Bike Week and what it looks like for real estate around here, please stay tuned for that. But let's go check out what's going on at Bike Week right now. All right, as you can see, it is super busy down here. There are tons of people. They're all coming here for Bike Week, and you can even see where the cops have like blocked off parts of the road. That's all for obvious safety reasons. It's a huge event. And so it is a Tuesday, middle of the week, and you can see just how busy Bike Week is. It attracts people from all over the country. It attracts people also that are local, and it's really good for the community just to have all of these people out here enjoying themselves, enjoying Bike Week, and also spending money in local stores and providing for the turnover of the economy. A little bit of stigma about that comes around Bike Week for being, this crazy, wild, and dangerous, and all these kind of things. A lot of the police that are out here, it's a pretty chill vibe. It's really not what people hear, like the dangerous stuff. Yes, are there fights sometimes? Are there people that get into accidents? Of course, but that can literally happen anywhere when you have a congregation of people that are all together in one area. I was gonna get this.
For this week?
For this week.
You aren't dressed like a biker though. Black shirt, jeans. I look like a freaking tourist.
It was intentional, man.
All right, so we just do that again. Okay, that was Rachel's biker. She actually looks like a biker. She's wearing jeans and a black shirt. I look like a freaking tourist, but we got back and she got a lot more looks than I did. I wonder why.
It's weird.
It is weird. Anyway, we're back home in New Smyrna Beach, where it's a little bit quieter than in Daytona Beach. And I want to kind of break this up because we're a real estate channel, so we want to kind of talk about the ramifications or the pros and the cons of Bike Week. Yeah, so I want to break down a couple things that concentrates on the real estate side, since we are real estate agents.
Okay.
So part one, I want to talk about where Bike Week actually happens. So this happens every March, every year. We have Bike Week, and then we have Biketoberfest, which is in October.
Yeah.
And that's not as big of an event, but it is still around 250 to 300,000 bikers that come down. This one brings in 500,000 bikers. That is a ton.
It's a ton, and it's people from all over the country, sometimes people from across the world who want to come and enjoy Bike Week and be part of the festivities. And it's like, it brings in a lot of money into Daytona and the surrounding areas because of it. And I personally am not on the side of hating on it, but it does change some traffic patterns around here.
Sure. And if you live beachside Daytona, then that's the people who's going to be, that's really the only people who's going to be affected by Bike Week.
The most. Well, you get into the real estate part and talk about why.
We will. So, but again, let's talk about, where it actually happens. Bike Week is really concentrated on Main Street. We walked around on Main Street. You see some crazy people and some crazy bikes and some crazy food.
Yeah.
But it is, like you said, when we were out there, it's so good for the local economy. So it's there, but also a lot of people don't know this unless they come to Daytona Bike Week. There's a big presence at the International Speedway. I mean, that parking lot, this place is massive. I mean, if you've ever seen the Daytona International Speedway, I mean, Daytona 500 is one of the biggest races in the world. This place is massive. I mean, massive. And the parking lot is massive. And that parking lot was filled with vendors and bikes and just tons of events. But, it all looks fun. Everybody's having a good time. There's a lot of police presence, of course, because there's drinking, and there's going to be that police presence for, all activities like that, whether it's Daytona 500 or whether it's, Bike Week or whether it's spring break. Daytona Bike Week, though, does center around Main Street and Daytona Speedway. So if you live within a few blocks of Main Street, yes, you're absolutely going to hear it. But if you're in Daytona Beach Shores, or you're in Ormond Beach, or almost most residential neighborhoods in Daytona Beach, like LPG International or Mosaic or Margaritaville's Latitudes, you're not even going to know that Bike Week is happening because you're away from the noise.
Well, one of the things that I would like to touch on about real estate wise in this scenario is if you are not into crowds, and this is one of those times where you feel like leaving, you should talk about the incredible income opportunities for people who are investors who want to rent out that space during these times.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to, so don't jump the gun here. I write the scripts, Rachel does it. So
I'm driving by it.
Where it actually happens is what I want to concentrate on. We'll go to the next section, but I just want everybody to know that Daytona Beach, and during Bike Week, it's not a citywide block party. Okay, this is very concentrated to the Daytona Speedway and to Main Street and that area there, and A1A. But this is not a citywide beach block party. It's very event centered. Okay. All right. So part 2 is, does it affect property value? Okay. So
this is a yes and no question.
Yeah. So from a real estate standpoint, major events like Bike Week and Daytona 500 actually reinforce the identity of an event-driven market. And so that's what Daytona Beach is known for. It used to be known for spring break and for MTV coming down, but it's always been known for Bike Week and Daytona 500. So we have these big events, and we also have events that people don't know about. We have Jeep Week, for example, where Jeeps are coming in from all over the world. And Jeep Week is awesome. I know that they hide the little ducks around the city during that time, which is really freaking cool. So but again, we have Daytona 500, we have Bike Week, we have Jeep Week, we have Biketoberfest. There's also tons of events. Luxury car, BMW I know comes and does a whole event in Daytona because my buddy Mark comes to it every year because we both drive BMWs. And so event-driven cities tend to have stronger short-term rental demand, which is what you were talking about a second ago, and also seasonal spikes in revenue because of that demand. So, again, spring break is obviously a huge one, but spring break is different in Daytona than it is in New Smyrna Beach, which we'll talk about it in a couple minutes too. So
even here in New Smyrna Beach, we get an overflow of people kind of coming and venturing out. They're getting a little bit away from that, and they're still renting properties out here in New Smyrna Beach because you're far enough away from everything that they can kind of calm down, have a more relaxed time, and then go back over to the event.
Sure.
And, do your party thing and then come back.
But it's not to say that Daytona Bike Week isn't people from just out of state. Like, there's probably a lot of people here that have bike. One of my very good friends, Charlie, that I play tennis with, drives a motorcycle. Him and Daniela both drive motorcycles. So do you say drive motorcycles? Am I saying?
Ride.
You ride motorcycles. I mean,
right. I'm going to do that the whole video.
Nevertheless, there's also locals. We just don't see them on their bikes as often, coming out. But it is, you can still hear it and see it in other areas. But again, for investors, event-driven cities do have stronger short-term demand and rental demand and the seasonal spikes in revenue, and the charging is going to go up. So this is the events are going to bring in high occupancy weeks. It's going to bring in premium nightly rates. And it's strong long-term desirability for the lifestyle buyers. So they can come in, stay during the period of time that they want to, and then leave during Bike Week or Daytona 500 or Biketoberfest or Jeep Week or Spring Break and rent out and make some serious income, which leads us into part 3, which is going to be the rental and the investment opportunity. So if you own a rental property near the action, Bike Week can be one of your strongest revenue weeks of the year. Again, with a couple of the other things that we've already mentioned, the demand goes through the roof while the supply is low. And anybody that knows Economics 101 know that when demand's high and supply low, prices are through the roof. The restaurants thrive. They're doing some of their best weeks. We actually didn't eat over there and stopped by our friend's place in Port Orange. And she said, oh, you guys were down at Bike Week. It's killing our business right now because it takes away from that, because the food looks phenomenal there. And all the restaurants around the area. I mean, it's
footage of the food.
Yeah, please.
It was amazing, and it smelled so good. And there were so many vendors out there, and it's hard to not be excited at an event like that.
Of course, yeah. And we were there, we got there like 11:30 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
And the place is popping like a Saturday in the busiest cities in the country.
Yeah.
But also the local economy benefits, which you mentioned. I mean, some of our stores and some of our hotels are just doing some of their best business during that time. So, so if you're buying strictly for peace and quiet as an investor, or if you want to live here full time, you probably want to be strategic about the location. And you're not looking at beachside Daytona Beach, because I'm going to tell you there are several weeks of the year that things are going to be like that, and it is going to be loud. And look, this isn't hype. This is just clarity for you guys. That's all. All right, so let's get to our next section, part 4, which is who should actually buy in Daytona Beach. Now, if you love energy, you love cars, you love bikes, you love oceanfront living and a town with personality, that's the best way to describe it, in my opinion. Daytona Beach is built for you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And Daytona Beach shores, like if you want to be just a little bit outside of that action, but like still be able to like golf cart drive down the beach to it, that is an excellent solution for that, wanting to be real close to the action, but then kind of like removed at night when it's a little quieter.
Yeah, for sure. Look, if you want a sleepy, event-free beach town with zero traffic spikes, Daytona Beach probably isn't your market. Probably isn't your area that you want to live in. You'd be more interested in Ponce Inlet or Ormond Beach. And even though New Smyrna Beach is a sleepy, surfy, artsy town, beach town, it gets busy here too. I mean, we saw that with the bikes. Definitely. And look, I want to be clear. I want to be very clear here before you say what you're going to say. I'm not trying to steer here. This isn't steering. This is just aligning your lifestyle. Okay, I want to be clear about that, because we have strict rules and guidelines that we're not allowed to steer and people and directions. And this is not about steering. This is about aligning your lifestyle. So what were you going to say about?
I just want to be clear with everybody who's watching this that this is a lifestyle channel, and you are giving information on real estate and just giving facts. Like, these are facts. Daytona is busy. It is a large city, and they are full of events and things. And like you said, New Smyrna Beach has its own, version of events. They're different though. They are different lifestyle events. So you've got Daytona over here that's got Bike Week and the 500 and just like Spring Break, and just it's really, it draws in these real large crowds, right?
And that brings in crime. Again, not to steer, but look, we're talking facts, and you're right. We talk only facts on this channel. And I will tell you, when we have phone calls and Zooms and people come down here and visit us, the number one thing they give us compliment on is we love your truthfulness. We love that you talk about flood zones. We love that you talk about, you're not trying to oversell us on anything. And we're not. We live this lifestyle too. But it is crazy that Daytona Beach is the 9th most dangerous city in the state of Florida.
But those are spikes that you're seeing.
Yes, but according to FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and FBI, Daytona Beach is the 9th most dangerous city in the state. But the crazy thing is, according to those same groups, FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and FBI, Ponce Inlet is the safest city in the state of Florida. Ormond Beach is number 2, and Port Orange is number 3. You have surrounding cities that are top 3 safest cities in the state, while Daytona is in the middle. But it's because of those spikes, and there's just those things that that chaos is going to bring.
Yeah, and I really believe that, because most of the time, if you're talking about just like most days, Daytona it's busy still, but it's not like event heavy busy.
That's the street that we were walking down today and that we drove down during a regular Tuesday at noon.
Does not look like that.
Has almost nobody on it. Like, I mean, it's just a regular street.
Yeah, so you're really only seeing those crime statistics, which are accurate, which are, you know, done by the FBI. Like, you're seeing spikes of that because any city, I would argue, that has events like this is going to see an uptick in things happening, because that's just, you get that many people together and something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen. All right, so let's get into the last section real quick, which is just our personal take on this whole thing. So I've sold real estate through multiple bike weeks. Okay, the market doesn't stop. Showings still happen, closings still happen, and property values continue to be based on supply and demand, not 1 week of motorcycles.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is a different video than we normally do. I think we're missing some opportunities. Daytona 500 was just a couple weeks ago, and I thought, man, it's a real missed opportunity to kind of show our audience what it looks like in coastal Volusia County during NASCAR week. And you see some crazy stuff, just like you see some crazy stuff during bike week. And
actually, the blimp flew right directly over our house.
Right over our house, because they park it at the Goodyear blimp. They park it at New Smyrna Beach Airport.
Which is so cool.
But the bikers were fun. It was fun to see them. I guess bikers only listened to Sweet Home Alabama because that was the only song that I heard over and over and over again. And I also don't know why. Maybe you can leave in the comments below. This is actually a real question. I'm not playing around. So if we have any bikers that are in our audience, I want to know why bikers play their music so loud and they just don't have headphones on. Because I imagine with how loud your bike is, which I think is by design, that why you would want to jam a radio as loud as you possibly can and not put earphones in.
I think my opinion is we want everybody else to enjoy the same song that they enjoy.
Sweet Home Alabama?
Maybe that one. Maybe that one. But maybe they just want to spread the joy of their music and like hear it.
maybe that's what it is. And at the same time as their extremely loud motorcycle.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to hear the song over the noise of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. That's what it is. I just answered your question. They have to turn the music up louder than their bike.
But why not put earphones in? That doesn't answer my question.
Because I think it's illegal to drive with earphones in.
What? Well, I don't know about that. But listen.
Somebody answer him.
So listen, if you're thinking about buying in Daytona Beach and you want to know where areas are quiet year-round and which areas have high energy, reach out. If you want an area that you can enjoy those big events like Bike Week and Daytona 500 and things like that, and Jeep Week, but being a sleepy town, reach out. If you want to know about schools or flood zones, reach out. Because listen, we get phone calls, emails, text messages, and Zoom invites every day from people just like you wanting to move to the beach. So whether that be in 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to help you move to the beach. Please make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe so you get all the updates and notifications about living in New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas. Thanks for joining us on this crazy Bike Week video. We'll see you next time.